So we're not really talking.
Back at it, Soccer Talk with the Soul. I'm Adam Deal. Glad you could join us. Our second ever episode, really building something with the Soul and everything else that's going on. And so now again, President of the Soul, it's Ron Patel, General Manager Larry Espinosa. Guys, right now we're going to talk a little bit about some of the lower leagues, why they're important. Even the PDL, obviously, and then the U.S. Open Cup, which you guys have been invited to. This is huge. That's what I want to get into first, is the U.S. Open, and that's going to start, going to host first round game on the 11th. Ron, I'll start with you. It's such a big deal.
Yeah, the Open Cup is for those fans who follow the FA Cup in England, which we did highlights of earlier. This is the United States version. It started in 1914. A couple years ago, had the 100th anniversary of the U.S. Open Cup. It's great. You've got all the pro teams in the United States. You've also got a lot of the amateur teams that can qualify, and teams in leagues like ours, PDL. And because we finished so high last year, we're in the Cup.
Yep.
So it's a cool tournament, and I know it's one that Coach Matt Gordon is thrilled about.
We're going to show you some highlight. That was a highlight that popped up. We're going to show it to you in just a minute. But Larry, this is such a big deal. I just want to talk about it more because fans need to understand. I mean, the best way to compare it is what we talked about earlier from English is the FA Cup, right? And so this is the US's version of that, and that means any team, regardless of MLS or professional. I mean, the tiers go down. PDL, anybody can win it.
Yeah. Harpos are not to be taken lightly. They made a great run last year. These are a group of individuals out of Colorado. They probably, I would say, have 4 or 5 ex-pros that have managed to get a good group of guys together, and they pay their fee like everybody else, and they've played in league qualifying games since October, I believe.
Yep.
And now suddenly here they are. They break it up into rounds, so they have the amateur round, which is a bunch of the pub teams, and then this is called the open round, so where we would end up now playing against Harpos, and there's other games like us going around. However, a lot of the blogs have slated this as being the match to watch of the open round, which is really interesting for us. So.
Well, we actually have something from Harpos FC taking on BYU, and this is not BYU, the actual college, it's their college club team.
It's their college team that actually participates in our league, the PDL. Right. They don't participate in NCAA, so it's BYU Sports that plays in our league. Last year they were in our division. This year we got moved into the Mid-South. But I think the highlights we have is from the penalty shootout that Harpos had with BYU at BYU last year in the U.S. Open Cup.
Well,
so
let's take a look at these highlights that
sure.
we have. And this is Harpos FC
There's a
and
miss.
BYU, and that doesn't help BYU right there. This is courtesy, by the way, of BYU TV. And FC Harpos, where are they out of again?
Boulder, Colorado, and it's named after a sports grill that was started in the 90s, and it came out, it was a few different names, and then became Harpos in 2004, I believe. We've got a post on our website with the whole story at abqsoulfc.com. But as you see, they won 4-2 on penalties and then advanced on to the next round where they played a professional team, the Colorado Springs Switchbacks, which is also the opponent that awaits the winner of our game with Harpos FC.
Pretty exciting stuff, right? Again, that'll be May 11th. Make sure you get out there at St. Pius High School. Beautiful field out there. How can people get tickets again?
So again, on the website, abqsoulfc.com, season ticket holders do get free admission to this game, and season tickets are still available on the website. And we're pretty pumped about it, if you can't tell.
Guys, you were able to, or I'll say Ron, you were able to catch up with Executive Director Chris Keeney a little bit earlier and talking a little bit more about this in the leagues throughout. He couldn't come in obviously into the studio.
He's been traveling, yeah. I mean, I think we've got some still images here to show of what's going on in the lower leagues. And the lower leagues are just so important to soccer as a whole. Obviously, we don't have MLS in New Mexico right now, but what the lower leagues do is really bring awareness of the game and allow fans to see high-level soccer, just like the Soul are doing in PDL, in their local markets. And what that does, it builds the foundation into the pyramid of soccer, which kind of boosts up all the way to the top, which is MLS. But what's great about it is USL has seen these record attendances. You've got FC Cincinnati who just last week in their second home game.
Isn't this crazy?
It's not. This is look at their fans here. 20,500 people went to see what would be the equivalent, I guess, of an Albuquerque Isotopes League.
Look at this.
But it's different. That's Cincinnati.
This is not the MLS. This
No.
is USL. Look at that.
This is third division
Isn't
soccer.
that great to see?
It's nuts, and
I think
it's
they're
awesome.
making a statement there in Cincinnati that, hey, listen, it's time to.
They're going for MLS,
Right.
and of course, a couple years earlier was the Sacramento Republic. And Sacramento Republic came out. They were playing games at a stadium called Bonnie Field. You see here, 20,000 fans at their games. FC Cincinnati broke their record, by the way, by a couple numbers. But the Republic have got this passionate fan base. Mayor Kevin Johnson, remember KJ for the Phoenix Suns,
Right.
is now a big soccer guy. And you see the battalion, which is their supporters group there. Fan culture is just wild and rabid now around the United States in the lower leagues.
It's great to see that, isn't
Yeah,
it?
as a matter of fact, Mayor Kevin Johnson's supposed to be in Albuquerque next week.
That's right.
And
We're going to track him down.
I ran into
Let's
the mayor.
make it happen here.
Yeah, I ran into the mayor, and he was impressed at the Ford vans. They couldn't believe that we had 2 of them now. And I said, you know what, Mayor? Because he asked what he could do for us. I said, talk to Kevin Johnson. Let's do a home and home with Sacramento
yeah.
Republic. So that would be cool. Have them come out here. We go out there. I think it'd be real interesting to see. So.
We've got to make that happen here. We've got to get to a Skype interview that you actually had here now. And so this is with Chris Keeney and Ron Patel.
Hi there, we're joined now by Chris Keeney. Chris is the executive director of Albuquerque Soul FC, and I would say one of the newer members of our team, but even though you've been around about a year and a half. And Chris is joining us. He's traveling today, so not able to be in the studio, but joining us via technology. Chris, welcome to the show.
Good to be here.
So we've been talking a little bit about the lower leagues after we talked a little about the U.S. Open Cup. So for those fans that aren't familiar with how the U.S. soccer pyramid or system is structured, can you kind of summarize how that works and what the different leagues are and where they stand in U.S. soccer?
Right.
I actually had a little problem there with the audio
Okay.
of Chris Keeney. So
Okay, no worries.
You're going to have to break this down live
Sure.
right here, Ron.
I could do that, no
Yeah,
problem.
come on.
So,
Just act like Larry's Chris Keeney. You know?
Mr. Keeney.
I'm much
gonna say myself,
much
but
better
I didn't.
looking.
Oh, there we go.
So, no, it's really interesting where soccer has gone. Soccer has gone to a point where ESPN just signed a deal with USL. So they're going to start showing USL matches on ESPN3, ESPNU throughout the year.
ESPN3, I don't think it's ESPNU yet.
Okay.
It's a game of the week on ESPN3 each week.
Yeah, so
It's a
big
big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically the way the soccer pyramid is positioned, so technically you've got MLS at the top, and then underneath that you've got NASL, which is considered second division. USL is actually considered third division, but making a strong push for second division, and probably will be considered
Yeah,
second
I was
division
going to say,
by
I think
US
one
Soccer.
could argue that it probably already is.
And their affiliation with MLS is actually a big part of that. So every MLS team either owns a team in USL or is affiliated with a team in USL. And then PDL, the league we're in, is considered fourth division soccer. And they have these same systems set up all around the world in different countries. You have first division, second division, and years ago, I lived in England, the first division was where Liverpool, Man United, everyone played. Now it's called the Premier League, and then it's the Championship, and then League One and League Two. So everyone's got these systems. So that's how it's kind of lined up in the soccer pyramid. But what's incredible is this deal with ESPN now shows a game a week. You've got all this exposure to the game of this lower league soccer because it's relevant. It's good soccer. I mean, you call the games for the Soul. You see how exciting the soccer is there. Think of a level up than that. And fans in markets that don't have MLS get to see this.
I guess the question then is, Soul, I mean, the direction that you guys want to go, is this somewhere that can happen here soon, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, we told the story on the last episode of this of how we met. It was by chance. We've only known each other a few years, but I think we had very, very similar visions for this.
Right.
And we've been vocal since day one. We have a 10-year plan to get to the highest level of soccer in the United States right here in New Mexico. And why? And we talk about why we do what we do a lot, because we love this place. I moved here 11 years ago from Phoenix, and I've lived all over the world. and I hated it. I did not like it. I thought it was hard to meet people. People are very kind of close to the groups they're in. I did not like Albuquerque at all. Here I am 11 years later. Albuquerque kind of grows on you as you go on. You meet a New Mexican girl perhaps, and I inherit 70 new family members up in northern New Mexico whom I all love. And it starts to grow on you a little more, and then you start to think, wow, we really live in a great place. And now, Adam, you couldn't pay me to leave this place. You could offer me a really nice contract somewhere else, and I would say, no, I want to raise my family here. I'd love to raise my kids here and have them stay here. We love this place, we love this game, and we think the two are two peas in a pod.
Quickly, Larry, you think this is something that could progress really soon with this PDL program that you have?
Absolutely. Numbers show it. Numbers show that we can support it. We had a feasibility study done that provides the numbers. The interesting part is that we have a lot of people out there that have different professional teams that they follow, and we've said it from the get-go. Go ahead, follow them, but guess what? We're your local team, so follow us too. Come and support what we're doing here because we'll make it worth your while. We've got also numbers to show that the minute we get you out to a game, our conversion rate is about 90% where you come back.
We're going to step aside here, guys. In a little bit, we're going to come back. We're going to talk a little MLS soccer. We're going to talk about some of the tournaments that are going on here this summer here in America. So come on back, Soccer Talk with the Soul.